So, yeah.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, that makes me happy. All right. So you have that conversation with one another, and so where's your plan to go from here?
Omega,
Okay.
probably.
Awesome. And your ship is full. You've been refueled. You've been paid. You guys are very happy with the pay that you received. You made all the purchases that you kind of feel as you need to do right now. The trip to Omega is actually not a very long one. As always, it takes about 6 hours to get from the Citadel station over to the relay itself. And I believe relay jumps cost about 6 hours each, right? So, hold on, this one, let me shrink. So that's going to be... because it's not 6 hours per square, it's 6 hours per jump, right? So that's only... Ooh, one of those jumps... Oh, yeah, you're safe for these. So you can do 2 jumps, or is it 6 hours per 4 hexes, right? Yeah, it's 6... I gotta really write that down. I don't think I ever wrote it down, but it's 6 hours...
I think we had it written down somewhere, and you just forgot again.
I think it's written down in, like, Frank's Google document maze.
Yeah, I really gotta find time, and probably after Christmas I'll find time and have that all re-put onto the whatchamacallit, so that will be good for the next
Obsidian
season.
Portal.
Obsidian Portal, thank you. So, anyways, so it takes you guys just over a day, we'll say, for you to, because we're going to do it the 4 hours, take 6. So just over a day to get into the Omega Nebula and into the appropriate system for you to be there. So it gets you there, and then from here, you're not at the station itself. It takes you, again, because going from one stellar body to another stellar body takes 6 hours. It takes you 6 more hours to go to Omega Station itself. You're in the system. You're around orbiting the sun that the station is. Do you go straight to Omega Station, or do you kind of hang out here? I don't know what you would want to do, and you only use 2 fuel because I know you're keeping track of that, Rick.
I definitely raised a point to the group. I imagine they're going to say that, oh, go straight for Omega so we can get better information network.
I'd say.
That's what Cattle's thinking as well.
Because we could hang around Omega and scan ships, and then it's like, oh no, they ran away.
Yeah, so we're just going to go and dock, I imagine.
Awesome. So you spend the last 6 hours, whatever, everybody kind of docking. Now, Aaron, I believe there were a couple of projects that you were finishing up while you were heading to Omega Station.
Yes.
It was you were working on the armor and whatnot, and I said, you're not going to be able to finish it now, but while traveling. I think we already discussed everything there was. The question I bring up is, those repairs, has the numbers been applied to the various characters that it affected or not? Sounds like a no. So, what were those modifiers so we can make sure that it's applied on each individual characters?
Oh, dear.
I believe it was armor upgrades for everybody, unless there was something else that you wanted to do.
It was custom armor for everyone, I believe, right off the bat. And then...
You gave me custom armor.
No, you got something special.
I got,
looking that up right now.
Ablative armor.
It starts with a P, I think. It's the one that it makes it look like not armor.
It can change to look like...
And clothing. Yeah.
And other clothing.
It's like old school glamored, yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's glamoured. Yeah.
And I'll look up the actual term in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, it's glamored.
Okay. So the way that works, oh god, I really want it to look super cool. I imagine your glamored effect is going to be 2-tiered. It's not just simply, so it's going to work in 2 ways. One way, it's going to work kind of like I imagine, Joey from Friends. Hey, his character from Lost in Space, how his helmet was. So at one point, the armor actually, when you go into the more civilian-looking way, it actually kind of clinks into itself, and so it's actually covering less. So instead of having the armor come all the way down to your wrists and whatnot, it actually will clink up to being like sleeves. So it actually makes it thinner for the tactile sensation, so it's not as strong. But then on top of that, it's also going to have light reflectors and everything that completely changes its form to look like something entirely different. That way, once again, you're not walking around these big, heavy work boots. But wearing a gown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I remember
it's called polymorphic blending.
Polymorphic blending. Nice.
Yeah. So it's going to be like a 2-tiered thing. Half of it kind of retracts, but don't worry, for all intents and purposes, the armor functions, and then half of it actually reflects differently. So, awesome.
I imagine it's the sort of thing where if combat happens, it changes back very quickly in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Heart rate and all that shit.
Yep. I would say as a reflexive action on your turn. You know what I mean?
Needless to say, actually on Omega, maybe not needless to say, on Omega, Entourage will dress more similarly to the Asari she may have got kidnapped by in a certain club.
Yeah.
She'll tweak it to look that sort of thing. Change the colors to be nice, dark, but with a sort of a ruby red highlight. You know.
Well, they know who you are now, so Arya knows
I know,
who you
but
are.
I'm still gonna change to blend to look less suspicious.
Okay, cool.
Even though it's not like our armor was so suspicious.
Yeah.
But like just to blend in more is the whole point.
Of course. It's one part fear, another part respect. Also, Ollie, can you do me a favor? Can you roll me a mental save?
That is going to cost us 3,000 credits out of the ship fund, by the way.
She's probing your mind.
2,000?
3,000. Whoever's cost, keeping track of that.
And that's because she does things at as cheap as possible. I think she does at half cost, which is nice.
Have cost.
So with that
Okay.
mental save, sadly, this place still gives you the heebies. You know what I mean? You get the heebie-jeebies at this place. You haven't completely overcome your concern of it. It's like you're trying to intellectualize it. You're trying to find like a spiritual wholeness.
I would have been
coming
happier if it was like, oh, you've been mind jacked by the Asari crime lord. No, I'm just scared of shit.
No,
So I wanna
not
be
just
really
shit.
useful.
It's specifically the heart of darkness.
Ghosts.
Specific.
Fucking
Ghosts
spooky,
in
man.
The heart of darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so moving
Get
on.
ghosts.
You guys are now back at Omega Station, or the various titles that you all call it, including an opportunity. So you guys are finally back there, and what's your plan here? I mean, I imagine some of you guys have nothing that you want to do, and some of you have important things you want to do. We're going to start with Cattle. What was your plan? So walk around.
Definitely look on. Yeah, I'll probably use Connect instead of Decryption. I think to try and figure out about the dude, and then I know I'll probably try not to show my face too much because I'm wearing SDG armor now, and I'll probably get shot.
Yeah. Can I assist with this? I have Connect too.
Your
I
STG
will
armor,
have
remember,
bodyguard.
it's specifically designed because of how the fact that it's designed to look nondescript. It actually just looks like typical Solarian armor. Okay, high quality, but it doesn't look as high quality as it is. Okay, so who is going to assist him in the connect? Like, who's going to travel with him and who's going to not? Okay, Entree is with you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Connect, so I want to assist, but I'm also, you know, bodyguard. But you know, I'm not looking so much like a bodyguard.
Anybody else going with him?
Consort.
No, I think just those two.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna work on the mounted gun
Sure.
ship thing.
Sure, Cracks, you want to help her out and hold the heavy stuff?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure you actually can give a lot of input on the calibrating of the gun and whatnot anyways.
Ordered to shoot.
Tremi is going to be seen grabbing Winnie's sniper rifle with its coolant and everything. You literally see her kind of like going into the armory and grabbing it. Her sniper rifle, the coolant. Ugh.
But that's mine.
I pay her the 100 credits, by the way, for the journey.
She says, yeah, I know. And she starts like walking off the ship. Do you say anything else?
No, but it'll turn across and be like, that was my gun.
About 45 minutes later, an hour later, you hear her
A sniper rifle shot.
on the comms. You hear on the comms it says, "All right, I'm set up."
You know, after last time, I'm not even gonna complain.
And
You just touches the spot. And
Yeah,
it's like,
I knew what she was doing.
Yep. So you guys go out to do your connect. Now, I'm gonna have Ollie. You can either roll your own connect to make your own connections, or you can give him a bonus on his connect. It's up to you either way. But tell me what you want to do before I have him go,
Up to you, Rick.
because you would have different connections, of course.
I mean, I think we can both try.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I made friends with scary gangster Asari, so why not, right?
Yeah.
Connect charisma.
I'm trying to imagine scary gangster sorry, and I just can't.
Have you played Mass Effect 2? She exists.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, but
So you're specifically trying to connect to Arya.
More or less, that would be where my mind goes first. That sort of thing.
Cool. So you try to reach out to Arya. You try to like, cause you had a relationship. You actually had a conversation with her. It was very frightening, and you barely did any speaking. But you did try to like reach out to her, and it literally seems like everybody that you've gone up to and like, oh, can I have a conversation with Arya? However it is that you present yourself, they literally give you like that cold look, like, why are you having a conversation with me right now? And it's very, very dismissive. The only person that really is able to give you, that gives you enough time to speak to you, really, they're kind of like, Arya's busy right now. Unless you have something to offer to her, I don't think she has anything to offer to you.
Then I give up.
Okay, awesome.
She can do a seductive dance.
Huh.
I have to go into the club to do this, and I blend in. So of course there's some dance. Gotta blend in to your surroundings. No, she doesn't. So she looks weird.
Okay.
Point.
Go ahead, Rick. It's your turn. Okay. So you have your once per scene thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about it. We're probably not going to stay on Omega for too long.
Even then, there might be multiple scenes on Omega. You know how it is.
Yeah. That's why it's so hard, man. I'm probably going to pass for now.
Okay. So you go around, you try to find out information about the Volus. Nobody gives you any information whatsoever. We kind of like, you go around, you asking questions about them. Every once in a while you hear like, yeah, I know that name. I don't know anything about him. I just know the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, figures.
Oh yeah, they work at the
I love that
Alliance.
guy.
Fuck them then. They work at the Alliance. They should die. Like that's kind of like you don't get like a really big response. And actually, kind of funny. One of the people that gave a response like that was a human. You know what I mean? So it was like you didn't really get much of a response from just kind of like going out and making connections with the peoples that you knew. Unfortunately. Okay. So that was kind of your whole day was spent doing that. And after everything was said and done, and Tremi comes back like later on that day, actually after you guys come back, but an hour later, Tremi comes back carrying the sniper rifle. She, comes in and goes over to the armory, puts it up there and puts the coolant battery and everything back down. She, kind of like rubbing her neck because the thing is heavy. She, and she doesn't have the suit kind of like Winnie does that she usually carries a sniper rifle on it. Rubbing her neck, she's kind of like, well, it seems like you didn't piss anybody off very quickly this time. I guess I'll have to go out tonight and see what I can find out. And she grabs up her own weapons and whatnot and starts heading out of the ship yawning.
She's going to get us killed. Or fired. I don't know which one's worse.
Anybody go with her, or you guys just leave her to her devices?
I'm already tired.
I'd probably go with her.
Sure. So you go traveling with Tremi. Tremi's heading to a bar first, and the first thing she's going to do is go and play a few rounds of Quasar. Roll me 4D100, please. Rick? Low is better.
Well, shit.
So her first game is awful, and she looks at you like accusingly. Her second game is awful. She looks at you like, you're bad luck. After her third game breaks like not quite even, she still loses a little bit more. She's like, go, just leave, just get me a drink, just go. You're ruining. I think it's you. You're too wet. Your moisture is ruining the machine, and the odds aren't in my favor. Just go. And when you kind of like either to go get yourself another drink or get both a drink or whatever it is, her fourth game she plays quickly as soon as you leave. She actually wins well, and she comes back like not completely bitter because she only lost some money, not a ton of money, and she's like, I knew the Solarians, you just ruin it. That's okay. Things went well. But after she like makes her money, she's only in a slightly dour mood because of having lost some. She eventually will go and meet up with some peoples that she meant to meet up with. Now, the way it first starts out is she meets them from across the way and has a conversation with them. Cattle, do me a favor. Roll me a charisma stealth check, please.
Oh, boy.
You try to be discreet, of course.
Yeah, no. I'm glad I saved that reroll because fucking hell.
Okay, that's
There we
much
go.
better. So
Jesus.
so you're able to
You should've
maintain.
just let it happen. I wanted to see what would happen.
So you roll the 2 natural ones, which is an utter failure. And what happens is while she's having a conversation with a contact, the person notices you staring directly at them. And so you kind of like realizing how terrible you're doing, you actually get up and walk over to the bar, and you when the bartender and you literally like push yourself between the two of them, pointing at a specific bottle that's like literally right between their heads are behind the bar, and you're like, that one, I want that one. And they hand you the bottle, you pay your credits, and you go over and you sit down and you keep to yourself while enjoying the bottle and listening. And they buy it. They completely buy the fact that you just did that. So anyways, they're having a conversation for a bit, and then eventually they leave, and she comes over and sits with you. And she's like, all right, well, we can probably get our hands on a ship. Were you looking to hire many more crew or no?
We'd probably have to get some new people
Many
in order
or
to
no?
manage fully. Depends on what you can get your hands on, really. Of course, our budget at the moment is not as large as we would like it to be. That's still something that we're working on.
Well, let me put it this way. The ship that you're flying, I was as honest as I could with its description. Taurians aren't really known for lying to one another. When I explained it to him, his opinion was, well, it sounds like a burner. Something that they can use for a couple of quick little missions and then toss off, and nobody has to know where it came from, or, it's a throwaway for high-risk missions. And so they had interest in the piece of shit. They're willing to pay a decent price for it. I'm using that phrase liberally. As for what they have for an offer, currently all they have is a heavy frigate. It's going to need at least 20 crew to man. I don't think that's what you're interested in, but he's going to keep his eyes out.
It's something to keep in mind, for sure.
If you think you can afford it, she says, wondering where all the times that you kind of like squabbled with her over her own pay.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to be able to afford it anytime soon, but
Yeah,
things might happen.
Times we haven't paid Tremelia, it's not because we can't, it's because she doesn't deserve it.
Whoa! That's
Just try and tell that to
that's
her.
subjective.
I have had that argument with her in character. I am not going to bring it up again.
As somebody who's managed a business, sometimes you have crappy employees that do a bad job. You're still legally entitled them to pay them for the bad job.
We're on Omega.
Yeah, but you're not a pirate.
Yeah.
Fair. At least not a space pirate, eh? No. So you have your conversation with her or whatever, and she's more or less like she's able to get you one ship right now, but it's way too big. And she's like, besides, it's not really the best ship at the I mean, there were two options. One of them was actually a Volus transport ship, which I thought was funny considering our current mission. It's not fast.
Great
it's not
idea.
strong. It's not. You're going to be spending lots of money for something that's slow and weak and will have no value beyond what we're currently working on.
I bet it's really comfy in a bolus.
And the other ship was a really beat up old Taurian war vessel. I mean, we're talking old. Like older than Entourage and Cracks and all of us put together old.
That's a shame. Well, guess we'll just have to keep our eyes open then.
Well, they're going to keep looking for me. They're interested in our interests. So we'll discuss prices when we have something you're actually interested. And then he kind of like looks at you for a moment. He's like, "You weren't actually interested in the Volus vessel, were you?"
Do I look like a freighter to you?
Your eyes lit up for a moment like you had an idea. You scare me a little bit when that happens.
No, I need something that can actually defend itself.
And that cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go play one more game. You don't join me. Roll me another D100.
I stay very far away from her.
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely the small bitey sort of thing, fast and bitey. I think anyway.
Yep, you can always ask for very specific. She obviously had her own requests that
You
were
don't want
based
to
off
ask for
of
specifics.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never know when something might come by and surprise you.
Fair. She comes back a little bit happier. She's like, I end up breaking even for the night, except for the drinks of yours I had to buy. And she says, kind of like handing the tab to you. But you guys head back to the ship. You're not expecting anything. And the next day, you're able to kind of go out, or like a day and a half later, you're able to go out and start trying to get information again, if that's what you want to do.
Probably.
Okay, do you want to do the same combination of people, you and Entourage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I'll be more like obvious that I'm trying to get a meeting for cattle this time, rather than just I want to have a meeting. But yeah, it's probably still gonna suck.
Yeah.
Broken.
Well, you never know.
Okay. So you gotta reach out, trying to get for any connection that you might have, people that you think that you knew from your own organization and everything. Unfortunately, it's not that people are brushing you off because like they don't care or don't want to help you. It's really that a lot of them are just busy with their own tasks and they don't have time to stop and assist you with yours. And you understand, like, because these are friends of yours or at least close acquaintances, that you're like, they must be handling their own important issues to not respond.
Entourage is a little too polite for this.
Yep.
She's
Yeah.
not going to be the person like, no, we need a meeting now. She's like, okay, yeah, fine.
Yep.
Come back when you've got less going on.
All right, and go
I
right
mean, she's
ahead
an
with-
Asari. She's got time. She doesn't have to rush things.
Exactly. She's no rush either.
Meanwhile, Cattle is growing a new grey hair every minute.
Go ahead, Rick.
Kendall has hair.
It's a good point. I don't think
I just tore it all out, sorry.
Ugh.
God damn it.
Ouch. So,
So,
unfortunately,
the next rolls will be for a week of time, right?
unfortunately, this time as you're kind of reaching out and trying to connect, roll me because you're the one speaking. Entree, roll me a charisma perception check.
I just insulted someone, didn't I?
Took a while. The sheet closed.
Okay. So you notice that as he's kind of having a conversation with this one group of people, and he honestly thinks he's about to get some information from them and whatnot, but then, I don't know, maybe it was his speaking conventions, maybe he just missaid a joke, whatever the case may be. Cattle's usually pretty on point, but we all make mistakes. We all have like those foot and mouth moments. He said something, or maybe they just didn't know anything in the first place and they were just toying with him, whatever the case may be. They completely shut down the conversation and end up kind of like walking away. But as you're kind of like witnessing this happening from like across the establishment that you're in, you see that he was actually being watched this whole time by this group of other people. And involved the group of people, they're not wearing any descriptive colors that you're very familiar with, but amongst the people happen to be two Solarians and a Krogan across the way. The Krogan, who's kind of like sitting there and just like cracking knuckles the entire time. It just seems to be like a tick of his. Just sits there and keeps cracking knuckles.
Not even his
And
knuckles.
the Solarians, and the Solarians are having a very rapid conversation with one another. This is to represent
in their
rapid
native
tongue.
tongue.
Yeah. So it's like super fast.
So I imagine
conversation.
I'm like in whatever lounge somewhere, sitting and having a drink while he's talking. So I'll just ping him like the 6 o'clock. They've been watching.
Right. I
was like,
imagine
do you,
that
do you need me?
Whoa.
I just ping back. Are they up to no good? Are they starting trouble in my neighborhood?
In West Philadelphia, I was born and raised. Out in
I
the playground
doubt
is where I
get
spent
another
most of
good-
my days.
I get a good insight roll off after getting that one, so I'm not gonna try.
I mean, you saw the
Uh,
Krogan cracking his knuckles
will-
all the time.
Well, he's a Krogan, though. So I'll say most likely.
All right, I will try to discreetly
Sort of a-
leave then.
Emoji.
Sure. So you're gonna give me a charisma stealth check again to just kind of like slip out.
I'm getting nasty flashbacks. Oh no, it's a decent roll.
Yeah, there you go. So you're kind of like, it's one of those things where they're getting distracted because like the two Solarians happen to be ordering a drink while the Krogan happens to notice like a disagreement going on across the way, and he's kind of like watching. Like you can imagine, like in his mind, he's wondering if there's somewhere to place a bet on the fight going on. So they're all distracted for this moment, and at that time, you throw a couple credits on the table, and you just walk out very quickly, kind of like using a combination of a pillar and a moving waitress to get yourself out of there without being seen. You know what I mean? A few moments later, Entree just kind of like gets up, makes her way over to the bar, and pays out her tab over at the bar very lazily, very easily, and then walks out of another door that meets up somewhere down the hallway. But so it's very discreet in the way that the two of you were able to slip out of there. Nobody seeming to know that you were together. At least you don't believe.
We're becoming the sneak team over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I might have to pick up some points in sneak. That might be a good idea.
That might be a good idea. The reason why I got some points in perception.
When you guys finally make your way back to the when you guys make that way back to the ship or whatever, you can have a conversation amongst each other about kind of like how things have progressed, because I'm sure the rest of the party is curious. Like, so I know Tremi is certainly like, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had the greatest luck of running into people who happen to know what we want to know.
Still plenty of time. There's no time limit on this job.
Unless he reaches his destination, in which case, there is.
You know that based off the description of kind of like what's going on at the moment, that it's very likely he doesn't have a specific destination. That but he might. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you definitively no. But the fact that he's going to be in this area, sometimes he might be at Omega Station and whatnot. You don't have all the details. It's very likely he could be using this region as like a hiding spot.
Oh great, he's going on a fucking pleasure cruise.
Yeah,
He's just
more or
chilling in
less.
space for a bit, near-ish Omega.
So, Grax can always reach out to his contacts in the blood pack.
You know what, at this point, go right ahead. Knowing you, you'll roll like double sixes again.
Who knows? And Scott, I would argue that I can use strength for that, because it's the blood pack.
Man,
It's actually a good point.
it's a really
Yeah.
good point. God damn it, Frank. Fine. Frank doesn't speak much, but when he does, he's like, I'm gonna make sure this is worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm also just really tired right now, so.
No, you're fine.
Crash just
now-
goes up just like, job. Yeah.
So, do I get any modifiers for flexing or anything when I'm talking to them, or?
I can't remember. Did you have a prior
11.
relationship with the blood pack?
Yes, we do. We
You
got them.
guys did, but did you prior?
Well, I got them to kill a bunch of people.
Got them to kill a bunch of people. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
we
It
got
actually
one
super.
people.
That's right. You as a team super benefited them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay,
We got them a
I
shit
will
ton of
give you a
money.
+1, giving you a 12.
I got a 12 then.
Yep, absolutely gives you that 12. And so what I'll say is that 12 right there and what it stands for and all of that stuff, we will figure out when we come back from our first break. So we will take 5 minutes to go do what you do, and see you shortly. Okay,
Good night.
bye.
I'm gonna sleep. Just gonna take a nap.
Space Dan.
So,